Hello? Alright, this is working. Wait, you can hear me now? What the heck? Alright, can you hear the music though? I didn't change anything. That's so weird. Alright, 1 second. Let me figure something out here. Hello? Is that better? Alright, 1 second. Alright. I should fix it. Oh, what happened? Good to go? Somehow I don't know what happens. I think it's when I do computer updates, like my settings reset. Alright, let's start it over a little bit. Alright, sorry about that for every delay, everyone, but we should be good to go, firing all cylinders now. Alright, how's that for... Too loud still? Turn it down a little. There, that was good. Corvus. Alexander Corvinus. Name the movie that character is in. If you guys want to know the playlist for tonight, I'll drop it in the chat for y'all. There's tonight's playlist. Alright, let me run some data. Yeah, there you go, Bulldog. There you go, Justin. Alright. I will look at CRVS because it looks interesting. I think you missed your pop, though. Look at that. Look at that candle. Look at that candle. Ooh. Alright, you're not going to get the data you like here. A lot of people shorted it. But here's the short interest on this. So 49% utilization, not major. Cost to borrow, it's okay. Looks like it's going up. Short interest, but I don't think this one's got much more legs in it. I don't know much about it though. Looks like they lose money. I'd have to do more research into what kind of drugs they're producing. So, Xenon. Squeezes and market corrections. What do you mean no theme? That's the theme. Can't you read? Alright, so I want to talk about a couple squeezes. Let's get into futures. Let's go look at futures first. Futures look disgusting. Market is dying. As you can see, we finally broke the channel. The 2-year channel was finally broken on futures. So that is not a small deal. Not only did it break it, it retested it and denied it. And so I imagine 436 to 438 is going to be your bounce zone. It might even make the full move tonight. So we might even get this full move tonight. So we got this green zone here. And that's where your first bounce zone is, around 438. And then your second bounce zone is going to be the 434 to 436 zone. And if it doesn't break that, then you're talking 425, you know, down in this area. But see, you have this channel right here. I think it kind of curves down and then bounces here tomorrow. So these are daily candles, by the way. Here's your hourly candles. So I want to show you how I got the second line here, because I think it's important to see. Let's go on the 4-hour. So this yellow line, it's like kind of looks random, right? So here is your channel here, right? So this was a clear rising wedge. We broke and came below it. So what I did was, all right, typically what you'll see is the break bounce on what would be a clone channel. So we're going to clone this exact same angle, and we're going to find where it makes sense to put it. So does it make sense to put it down here, down here? How big is this channel going to be? We don't know, because we don't know where it's going to bounce. So this could be a likelihood right here. So it'd be like, you could see, you know, you had some support and resistances on this one. You also have one, this is the one that I chose to look at. This would be your first area of, so you can see, you know, basically support and resistance is right in this channel right here. So I figured this is the most likely. Tomorrow is, you know, if you believe in moon cycles, full moon. But watch this. I think there's one called moon phases. Yeah, check this out. So you can actually see the full moon typically corresponds with the bottom of a market. Wait, where is it? Yeah, so full moon, full moon, full moon. Typically you see a pump on full moon days. Full moon. Big pump there. But and you usually see dumps on new moons. So new moons dump, dump, dump. Now, it's just a theory. I mean, it did call the top, though, the new moon, unfortunately. And this full moon did call the pump here. So, yeah, Sig loves the full moon theory. But, no, it's not because of the moon. It has to do with actually because of OPEX and monthly contracts and quad witching and all sorts of witching events and things like that. So, you know, moons and witches all together, it all makes sense, right? Alright, we're going to get rid of that. You guys like my new little financial cloud thing there? Huge. That's a cool thing I got added recently. But alright, let's look at tech futures. Tech futures don't look as bad, but they kind of look like a megaphone, if I'm being honest with you. But this scares me, this head and shoulders. Mark, yeah, man. This is why I'm talking about squeezes right now, because squeezes usually call the top. So the reason I've been all over them is they usually don't have anything to do with the overall market. So, yeah, you can see A, B, C, D, E. So this should be where it would bounce up. We'll see. But you know, you kind of got a left shoulder ahead and a right shoulder here. So if that's the case, we just tested the bottom there. So this means this line right here would have to hold. That's your support. Otherwise, it's probably going to come down, hit this, and then we're going to see another sell-off. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't look amazing, in my opinion. I also don't like that we bounced originally on this pivot here, and then rejected it immediately. I don't love that these candle bodies are forming a bear flag as well. Yeah, make sure you check the astrology horoscope tomorrow and see if it tells you to trade. Alright. Is it YM? Is the Dow? Yep. Oh, that looks terrible too. Holy cow. Wow, look at that candle. That is... Ugh. Makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Man. Alright, let's come back to that at the end of the show. Alright, let's talk about some squeezes. Those will be at least somewhat fun, because the futures do not look fun right now. Yeah, you can get caught on these, so just keep in mind what we're talking about now is not investment advice. I'm just talking about potential things that could happen, and with all short squeeze opportunities, they're shorted for a reason, and trying to force a short squeeze or get caught in a short squeeze can be very profitable, but also very unprofitable if you get caught on the wrong side. Okay, disclaimer out of the way. Alright, let's look at IRNT on the hourly. Now, I kept this on here mainly because the cost to borrow on it is so high. I'm not sure if it's done yet. It's done yet. The short interest is not super high on it, but utilization still at 100%. So, I mean, the utilization being at 100%, cost to borrow being over almost 1,000%. You don't need the short interest to be super high. You just need it to be probably over 10% for it to be a decent squeeze. So, keep this on watch. I probably wouldn't go into it unless it got back over this area right here. Probably need to see it back above 34. And then maybe you could see continuation. I definitely like it to hold above 28 for sure. So 28 would be like the bottom floor after that. It's probably going to come down and fill this wick around 2380. So I don't know. Nancy Pelosi, me and her, we're getting real tight. She's been calling me a lot lately. I want to talk about Corsair. I've been doing a lot of research on this. I know I've talked about it on my Twitter a lot. I even did the blast circles for you. So let's start over. This was one I want to kind of highlight. I've been on this one about a couple weeks now. I liked it a lot back when it was kind of around this area, and then it kind of went through area of correction. Then you saw that pump on Wall Street bets one night, and it just skyrocketed. But ever since then, you know, the shorts, they've been making their money on it, and it hasn't really had a lot of institutional buying behind it. And I think that's the problem that you're having, is institutions think it's a fad, their profits and profitability. So basically they're betting on people not not getting in and on the gaming phase and all that. So if we're not familiar with Corsair, you know, they make high-end computer products, keyboards, mice, headsets. Now they're getting into actually building computers and things like that. I use a lot of their products. I love their products. Like, I'm sitting here typing on a Corsair K100 right now, and you know, I have a Corsair mouse that's sitting in my hand, and I have Corsair mouse pad that's light up. They're nice things, you know. I got to support companies that I'm invested in, right? So the chart we'll come back to. What I want to talk about is their income. So look at this income. So last year the income exploded from 1.1 to 1.7 billion. So they have a market cap of 2.7 billion right now, and they're on pace to do about 1.5 billion. So basically half their market cap, they're on pace to profit. And you can see their debt to assets is nice, their book value is nice. Statistics wise, EBITDA could be a little better, but it's not bad. I mean, typically around the 10 mark is where I like to look at for a growth stock. Price to book, anywhere under 10 for me on a growth stock is what I like to look at. Something that is doing that. The price to cash flow, it's a little high, but price to earnings around 20. So still lots of room there when you take SPY into account, around 35. You know, still about a 70% upside if it wanted to match SPY. I don't like that the last quarter they had an earnings miss when they've had so many large beats. So this is a worrying sign, and that's probably why it's been struggling lately. But I still believe in them. You know, the total assets has been going up, the debt to assets has been going down. So health-wise, very solid company. You know, I still have about a $40 to $50 long-term target, indicating about almost 100% upside over the next 3 years. So for me, it was worth the risk-reward ratio is there. The downside is so low that, you know, I think it's always going to be at least a $25 stock. So my 10% risk for 100% gain, 10 to 1 basically risk to reward, for me was worth it. So, and you can see, you know, the chart looked like it was the right time to go into as well. So you got basically this cup and handle. It is a pennant, which has typically recently been a reversal formation, unfortunately. So that's my only concern, is the pennant right here. Now it could be a bull flag as well. You know, it's kind of got this this channel right here that it's been trading in. So over 30 is really what it needs to. It needs to break over 30 and then close above 30. The bigger thing is it needs to close above 30. So a couple things I want to highlight here is, you know, Friday it closed under 29. Unfortunately, the fact that it closed under 29 was not great. You can see the last hour they pushed this down so it would close under 29, so all those options contracts would not expire in the money. So you can see on Corsair specifically, the 9/17 was the largest OI day. And this was overall for the market. Like yesterday, in terms of OI in the market, was just so insane in terms of gamma. That's why we saw the sell-off is because so many people had calls and so many stocks that market makers had to keep the stock pinned down, and now we're seeing a gamma flip basically to negative, and that's what's pushing us down more. And so it is a room for concern, but not too concerned on Corsair. Let me show you the short interest on it. Give me 1 second while I pull this up here. This music's tripping me out. Okay, it's not working. Feels like I'm in like an alien movie. I'm getting abducted. That is correct. You are a misfortune teller. Alright, so a couple different things going on here. So I don't love the cost to borrow. That's the one thing I want to see go up, and I think once we get over 30, you'll start seeing that. The utilization has been going down as well. That's because we've been going sideways, so we really need to see this push over 30. But once this pushes over 30, that's when you're going to see the fireworks to about 34, 35. Now for the conspiracy theory time. I want to talk about time fibs on this. And it's possible that the time fibs predict a major sell-off as well. So just keep that in mind as well if you decide to full boat this. So don't ever full boat anything. Alright. Alright, so a couple of different time tools you can use. So we can do the bottom here to the top here. You know, that's one thing you can do. But I like to do it off of the first move. So this is the big impulse and correction, right? So big impulse right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and truncated 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And then you had, you know, basically a corrective combo into an A, B, C down. So this is your big move right here. So can this big move predict when the next big move is going to be? So we go low to high end of it. Where is it? So beginning to end. So that's the 1618 extension, most likely zone that we get a bounce there. You can see these called the tops here, here, and here, and here. So I called the bottom over here. It's not always a precise thing, so you got to look at it more of a zone. We got to do this on the daily. That's why we're doing this wrong. There we go. Alright, you can see tomorrow is potentially that day that it bounces, so that's exciting to think about. So now let's look at the fib circle and go low to high here. That's not the right one, hold on. Fib circle, there we go. So you can see that also is there as well. And usually when you're below the 50% on a circle, it'll act as support. And you can see when I hit here, that's when you see this big bounce. When it hit here, you see the bounce, etc. Here was an exception. It bounced for a day or two, but then sold off. So it's not always a 100% yes, 100% no. The market is never that way. So. Alright, so that's kind of my conspiracy theory on Corsair. It's going to do something this week, fairly certain of it. I think that could have something to do with market gamma. That would probably be the cause of it, unless there's some news. You know, maybe Apple or some big company takeover rumor on Corsair. You know, profitable company. would make sense. You know, maybe they buy them out at $50 a share. If that's Corsair's endgame, that'd be a good endgame. You could see all-time highs at 51.37. So if we see the full correction, ABC down, and then a start of an impulse move back up, we need to get over that 30.31 mark, and then we're golden. All right, skin. So this one interests me for a couple of reasons. You know, earnings growth, really interesting. The product they sell is interesting. I don't always use the 1 day. I find it the most reliable though, because you got to think when you're using time-based tools, it's not always exact. It's usually trying to tell you a zone or an area that something's going to happen. So, you know, within a day or two will help you. If you try to pinpoint it down to the hour, you're going to have a bad time. It's not going to happen. So, let's see if I can get this working here. Alright, so the only thing, this is kind of, you know, based on what I've been talking about lately with cost to borrow, utilization, things like that, this doesn't really fit those bills, but this does have one other thing going for it. So the short interest at 35% is what interests me. The utilization and cost to borrow basically mean nothing because they're so low. They don't help us one bit. But what does help us is the fact that we're almost at all-time highs. And let me check something out here. So I'm going to pull up a chart here, and we're going to overlay two charts. Alright. That doesn't get me as excited. I was hoping this would be higher. So one other thing you want to know is, where did they short, right? So if they shorted up here, that doesn't matter. If they shorted down here, that's what matters. How do you determine that? You determine that by average day on loan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Average day on loan is 10 days. So you can see average day on loan. That means most people that are now shorted it right here. And they probably did it on this day. So they probably have a cost average above 26 right now. So when this gets over 28, that's when it gets interesting. So when it gets over 28, that's when it gets interesting. And this is why, like, there's so many different things you have to take into account on a short squeeze to get it right, that a lot of people get trapped on because they don't take into account, like, oh, it's 70% shorted. Okay, the stock's at $7. Their average short is at $14. They don't care that it's 70% shorted at $7. Like, they're not going to start caring until it gets close to their cost average, right? Because they're not going to let their trade go negative. So that's what's happened on a bunch of stocks. That's why stocks that are near all-time high and are shorted, that's what you need to be interested in. Actually, I forgot one. I need to add one to this list. If you guys want, I can add this list into the Discord at the end of the show. ASO is extremely interesting. Yeah, let's get rid of all this stuff. So ASO, for me, has been like a year-long squeeze. Like, we've been watching this thing back here since like $20, and it just straight line up, right? So, I mean, you could draw a line here to here, and it's just, you know, oscillating up, but it's following this line up. So it's finally starting to get down there where the shorts are realizing maybe maybe I shouldn't short this thing anymore. So, you know, we did just see a bunch of short squeezes last. So these earnings recently, you know, big thing is this is an extremely profitable company. I think that's what is the funny thing about it, is people are shorting these very profitable companies because they're like, oh, a sports academy during COVID would be awful, but the problem is people still love sports. Right? Average day on loan for this is 24 days. So 24 days, get rid of this, count the days back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22. So that means probably in this area is where they shorted it. So what they probably did was this area right here. This is where most people shorted it down. And some covered, probably a lot covered, but there's still some holding out thinking this is going to reverse. I got a news flash for you, buddies. Probably not reversing. So based on the fact that it has a 6 PE ratio, probably not reversing. So just a good fundamental stock with a good, it's kind of like Corsair for me. So ASO and Corsair are very similar in terms of fundamentally strong, that people thought that would fall off during COVID, and they actually got stronger. So it's kind of the AMC effect, where people love sports, people love movies. They don't want to see it die, but unlike AMC, the ASO and Corsair profits actually soared. So yeah. All right. Let's go into some that you probably have never heard of. I have a lot on this list. I tweeted out the ones that I like. So I have a huge list here that I've been watching. A lot of these are D-SPACs, so they're not necessarily short interest. They're a little different. I'm not going to go into that too much tonight, but some of these I did want to highlight. So you can see the charts are going to look crazy on a lot of these. We're only going to focus on the ones that could possibly play out. Yeah, shorts have covered on BBIG. Let's talk about BBIG since I know it's popular. And we probably should talk about TMC. So, alright, so BBIG broke the uptrend and has been selling off. Is most likely coming back down to $5. I'm going to show you something that's going to break your heart if you're in it. I know my alter ego keeps pushing this, but I'm pretty sure he's short on it, and he's actually trying to flip people into covering. So he's trying to get people to buy as he's shorting it, because the short interest is down to 20%. It's been going down every day as the stock's been going down. So people have been covering on the way down. Basically these green candles are their cover days. And so the utilization is going down. It was at 100%. Now it's down to 93%. The cost to borrow was at 200%. Now it's down to 49%. It's just people are covering, more shares are available, and so they can short it down more, but it needs news, in my opinion. It needs news. So you can see cost to borrow 7 days ago was 192%. Now it's down to 49%. It's just people are moving on, in my opinion. One of the ones they're moving on was IRNT. Another one is T2. Look at that. Look at those candles. Sheesh. This is one that is super trending. Oh, why don't I have ATER on here? ATER is my #1 right now. So this is one brand new symbol, 100% or 92% utilization, 47 cost to borrow, no short interest on it. I think this is more of a D-SPAC situation. I don't. Sig and Dapper could probably talk about it more. They've been following it more. I haven't been following this one as much, but I have been seeing a lot of chatter on it, and a lot of Wall Street Bets chatter as well, because it's over 3 billion. I think it was the top post the other day. My top squeeze right now, still holding GREE options. Oh, what a disaster that was. That was a very unprofitable. It was very profitable and then very unprofitable. So it was like we played it up, and then yeah. So ATER was one that was very profitable, and I actually got burned on this one particular because typically when you see these blow the tops off, right here at 18, this this cup that it formed, I thought this was going to be where it went to like 50 overnight. And I got caught the next day. I thought it was going to bounce here, and then it didn't bounce, then here, it didn't bounce, and then here, it didn't bounce, and then, yeah, I've just been bag holding this the whole time. And I actually added my position substantially around the $9 mark and started basically a new position. So I like that it bounced right here. So I like that it bounced off of this old resistance, now turn that into support. I really think this needs to get back over $12 and hold it though. Otherwise the pressure's just gonna zigzag down. So yeah, SPRT, we don't talk about SPRT. That was devastation. Learned my lesson on that one. So here's the reason why I still like ATER, by the way. So the fact that it closed over $10 on Friday was huge for the gamma. So I'm going to put a couple charts up on this chart. So you can see utilization is still almost 100%. Cost to borrow is not going down as well. It's actually been going up. So 7 days ago it was 60%. Now it's up to 220%. Yes, we should talk about BTCM as well. I like that one as well. BTCM actually has a double inside week as well. So the big thing on ATER is now it can gamma squeeze because it closed over 10. This could be the winner this week because of the gamma plus the short. So with 138,000, let me see here. I think it closed at 11. Yeah, it closed above 11 actually. Alright, so check this out. So we actually have a command that I can figure out exactly what the gamma would be. So that means 2 million shares have to be traded if calls were exercised. So not only all of them, but oh man. Yeah, we're gonna look at futures here in a little bit again. But at least 2 million shares, almost 2 million shares expired in the money. So 18,500 call options. You can see there was 138,000 OI. So definitely some gamma that needs to be covered on that. We should see that covered by Wednesday. That'll help us push us up, get us over 12, and we can start off to the races again and get our real nice push up. So short interest has continued to rise on this. I'm going to continue to monitor this and continue to watch this one. Alright. BTCM. Let's talk about this. Look at that. Nice consolidation. So I wouldn't, anytime you go short squeeze, go in the money, give yourself time. So what burned people on SPRT was just the fact that it went down like 80%, but something like ATER or BTCM, it's going to be a lot safer if you buy like $5 or $10 calls. And here's the other thing about getting in the money calls. Then people have to delta hedge, which also pushes it up. So the more in the monies that are called, the more delta hedging people have to do immediately on those. So always in the money, always give yourself time. Never out of the money on short squeezes, because it's more likely when you put out of the money, they're going to try to hold it down. Now, I haven't done SmileDirect. We'll get into SmileDirect as well. Alright, so BTCM. So the chart looks gorgeous. I think that's the biggest thing that I like is the chart. You know, basically you can just play it over 1120. 100% utilization. Getting an error on the cost to borrow, unfortunately. So this probably won't update till tomorrow, but still 14% shorted, still 100% utilization. Looks really, really good. So keep this on your watch list tomorrow. Keep that over 11.30, 11.20 in that mark, 11.25, and then once it gets over $12, we're off to the races. Alright, SmileDirect. As you can see here, it closed under the gap fill. So it was unable to push over the 670 mark. Actually closed right on it. But the short interest still looks good. Been hearing an Amazon rumor partnership possibly. If not already happened, but I've been hearing a rumor that they're partnering with Amazon potentially, which is very, very, very interesting and could easily cause a short squeeze. I'm just waiting on this data to get pulled up here. Interesting. Alright. Not as good as I thought it would be. So there is one good thing. Utilization is going up. Almost at 95% now. Short interest is going up as well. The cost to borrow isn't really moving. So it's not penalizing people for holding this, but the fact that it's almost 50% shorted does intrigue me. Now, I don't think I could play it unless it gets over 750, but over 750 is when you could start to see major movement on this. And then maybe we could see that run up to the 15, 16, maybe even up to the 20. Yeah, looks super interesting. Alright, I need different music. I'm just like not digging this mix, unfortunately. I thought I would. Alright, let's look at futures. And we'll wrap her up. Woo! That is moving. So basically what we need the Fed to do this week is say Wednesday we're holding off on tapering because people expect this Wednesday to announce that they're going to start tapering. And that's why I think that's what's driving us down this weekend is the rumors are spreading like crazy. They're going to lay off of asset purchases. Interesting. I want to see if it bounces if I'm right. Now this makes sense, the 438, 436 to 438 bounce zone, but that is ugly. I'm $3.50. I mean, Dan uses MFI, so he usually goes in off of every signal, and then he'll trade until he gets his 7 to 10%. You know, if he gets a MFI sell signal on the 15-minute candle, he usually sell, you know, for that 5 to 7%. But yeah. Let me look at the cues real quick. feel like we need a... I think we need this song. Whew. That's not looking too good either. China's down too, huh? Yeah, I mean, it sounds really bad for China, you know, Evergrande. Basically took a huge risk on development, built a bunch of properties really cheap, and now they're paying the price where they can't cover their debt because they couldn't turn the properties into profit. So now you just have a ton of ton of properties and a ton of debt. So it's definitely interesting and definitely not good for the markets. It's good when China and the US are busting together. Yeah, China has ghost towns all over the place, and that's part of the Evergrande problem, is they built those ghost towns and then never put people in them. Oh, this looks terrible. Man. Be interesting to see if the government bails them out, but I doubt China would do that. They're not like that. So do have a nice inside bar here we could cover for a second. You know, these are weekly inside bars basically. That doesn't look good though. That looks kind of terrible. These all look terrible. Piton looks a little better, but not really. Wow, MU. Man. Not a lot of good Alright, well that was a fun song. Let's go back to regular Tamakaze music though. God Wave Rises. That sounds interesting. Let's put that on. You know, the Kraft Heinz chart doesn't look terrible. This actually looks kind of good. You know, Kraft Heinz had that, was it like, I think it was here. They basically said, hey, we can't give you an earnings report. And they just tanked so hard. They're like, yeah, we're supposed to report earnings and we can't do that. So they're still a profitable company though. Barely. You know, huge company. I like their stuff. They make good stuff. Disney. Banana. I like Disney. Disney was, it's one of my top picks right now. Really like Disney. Really like CVS. CVS is, pretty cheeky. BTCM we talked about. big C. Wow, I actually have this charted out. Did you look at that? So this is see, it's kind of following my chart. So yeah, my next price target would be 90 on this. So, and then affirm. You know, basically partnering with Amazon was huge. Probably should see this go to all-time highs here. Look at that banana. Banana. So, alright. San puts. Sheesh. Look at that candle. I don't like this song. Let's get a better one. You gotta listen to an artist called Les Balls. Yeah, I mean, how do you... What is a short interest on this? Has this been getting squeezed? And I didn't watch it? Like, is this on me for not paying attention to this? I've been watching this thing since 70, and I'm like, this is the top. It's gotta be, right? I think their last earnings was... Yeah, power earnings gap went nuts. Crazy. Yeah, that one's nuts. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it kind of looks like it's going to continue to go up. I mean, it's been on this uptrend forever. I'm going to set an alert for myself on this. Yeah, I was looking at Zev this weekend as well. I really liked how it closed. You know, it's kind of making some butt cheeks. So I thought it would go off of this cup and handle. I really did. I don't like that the short interest, you can see the shorts are still covering. So if you're going to get into this, it's probably because you like the company and the fact that they have a $1 billion contract and they're a $695 million company. So, short interest wise, it's got some good stuff there. You know, 71% cost to borrow, 98.5% utilization, 11% short interest. What I'm really curious about is the contract they got with the government for electrifying public transportation. So, yeah, butt cheeks is bullish. So, alright, getting a lot of viewers after a while on here. Can't crack that 100 mark though. That's alright. It's Sunday night, football's on, Chiefs game's on. How are they doing? I haven't even looked. This is the problem, like, I'm missing football because of this. Oh, good game. Good game. Tyrann Mathieu interception return, huh? Byron Pringle. Man, Travis Kelce is so good. That guy's so good. Alright, sorry about that. SmileDirect we covered already. The big problem that I have with SmileDirect is I think an offering is coming. Maybe we get that pop to 750, but they have to do an offering. Like, they have to. They're almost out of money. So, I mean, they got negative 150 million cash flow right now. And their debt's about to pass up their assets. They have to do an offering soon. So, yeah, OPAD is actually on my squeeze list right here. Filled the gap. Looks interesting. Skills, I'm not as confident in anymore. It broke to the downside off of Here's your OPAD interest. The big thing you like about this is the cost to borrow. So, cost to borrow looks nice. Short interest still pretty low, but this is a D-SPAC, so that's what's going to drive it. Yeah, Skills finally broke the downtrend after freaking forever, but you know, it's supposed to break here. But they drove that down under $11, $12 to keep the gamma. But the thing is the shorts covered and it didn't go up much. See, we're down to 24%. Cost of borrow is down, utilization is down. Need to get going. Tractor Supply Company. Yeah, I mean, I talked about the cup and handle on this, obviously. You know, I had the breakout retest. Looks great. Oh, Baltimore just scored again. Wow. That's a good game. It's a good game. I love how negative you are, Zenon. It's like the world is ending, and you're just like, the world is ending. Alright, you might be right in this one. He's got to be looking at it. There we go. You want me to tweet that? Alright, I can tweet that. Just for you, Mario. I love that TradingView lets you put stuff on the charts now. Dang, it is in my bounce zone. Dude, futures are dying. Random, you don't have a Twitter? I put it in the Discord for you. Alright. Well, if you guys want this list, I'm gonna export my squeeze list. I'll put it in announcements. I think everyone can have it. That's fine. Alright, well with that, yeah, hopefully, maybe we go red to green tomorrow. You know, gap down, fill the gap, and keep going. I'll be honest, ooh, this new hour candle's turning green, baby. We gonna bounce? Alright. Well, I need to go watch the end of this game. This is looking fire. Ravens vs. Chiefs. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If not, don't give me a thumbs up, I guess. But, yeah. This looks to be our market correction that we've been waiting for, so this is nice. I've been waiting for this for a while because then we can do some cool things. Yeah, Frank, it doesn't look great, does it? So, who knows? Maybe this is the floor tonight and then we, futures make the move tonight. We're all good. You never know.